joining us ahead of the Warriors game against the Lakers. It's the four-time champ, Draymond Green. Thank you so much for stopping by NBA today.
I appreciate y'all having me.
It's always a good day, Draymond, when you are in studio, particularly when you are coming off a game like you all just did. Last outing, you have a triple-double. Steph Curry has 50 points here. In year 13 together, what do you guys say to each other on the floor after a game like that?
You know, honestly, you can tell when he's locked in and ready to go, and you don't need to say anything. And last night, he had the look in his eyes. He had the look in his eyes of shoot-around, though. And so coming into that game, and if there's one person that doesn't forget anything, he remembers the last time we played at Memphis. And so we go on the shoot-around yesterday, and Chris DeMarco calls our first unit in, and he's like, y'all remember what happened the last time we played at Memphis? I'm like, stop. Enough. Like, we don't need to hear about that.
Don't talk about the no field goals, right.
We'll move forward. We're not listening to that. And we had this moment, and Steph started yelling, yeah, me and Chris DeMarco going, and he starts yelling. So you just know when he's locked in. But I told him at the free throw line, when they fouled him, he had 50, and he went to the free throw. I said, man, oh, you already got 50. Well, go ahead and get 52. That's not bad for a 40-year-old.
That's not bad for a 40-year-old. That makes me worry about what you're going to say to the actual 40-year-old when you face off against LeBron James.
He got to hear it, too.
You said, Draymond, in February, that acquiring Jimmy Butler, this team was going to win a championship. So you saw 18-2 with Steph and Jimmy Butler in the lineup. You already were foreshadowing that? I can't
necessarily lie to you and say I saw 18-2, but what I saw was who Jimmy Butler is. We already know who Steph Curry is. We already know what he can do and how he can carry. But now you add a force like Jimmy, who's a force on both sides of the ball. He's a force on the defensive side of the ball, and he's an extreme force on the offensive side of the ball. And when you look at that, I took a step back, and I'm like, all right, so what are the challenges here? Because he wants to win. And I know we want to win. So this is a match made in heaven. You got a guy who want to win come into a situation with some guys that want to win and are trying to figure it out.
Right.
It's not like it's the made team that people have looked at for the last 9 or 10 years. This is a team that's real and trying to figure it out, and we need that presence. And I just felt really strongly about what he can bring to this team. And we saw it for 2 games, but I'll tell you the story. In 2022, my friend Danny, they were all going to F1 Miami. And I was like, Danny, I'll see you in Miami. Like, I'll be there for F1. There's no chance we're getting out of the first round of the playoffs. He's like, all right. I called him after the very first game because if you remember that year, Clay came back, I got hurt. The game I came back, Steph got hurt.
Yeah.
And so we hadn't played together. Our first game playing together was the first playoff game. I called Danny after the game. I said, Danny, I'm not going to see y'all at F1. We're going to win the championship. And he was like, what are you talking about? You just told me y'all are going to lose. I said, I know what it looks like, Danny. And I just felt like this looked that way. So
you're getting those same sort of 2022 vibes. And you're not the only one in the organization who has said that this team feels like it has something special. And I imagine some of that, though, is Jimmy Butler coming in, having been on the finals stage and not having finished the mission, wanting to prove maybe something there. You've been to the finals and won many times. You've been to the finals and you haven't gotten the job done. What is it about this team that makes you believe that it'll be the former?
I think this team has the ability to match different lineups. When you look at all championship teams, they have abilities. If a team go big, they can match that. If a team goes small, they can match that. If they need three-point shooting lineup, they can do that, right? If they need an all-defensive lineup, they can go to that lineup. And I just think the versatility of this roster with adding Jimmy Butler and what it does against other matchups, it allows us to match up against anyone, and I like that. I think that's what you need to win a championship.
I believe you. Sitting here, I can feel your conviction, and then I look at your path. Just for the record, it could be, as it stands right now, Luka and LeBron, then the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then potentially the 3-time MVP. Those are the teams you could play.
Absolutely.
Who do you want to see?
Well, I think anytime we face LeBron, that's always cinematic. It's always an incredible challenge. So that's always fun. But honestly, all 3 of those teams are going to be tough. And if you're going to make it out this Western Conference, we can look at the standings. You look at pretty much 1 through 8 is right there. And I mean, not 1, they're a little ahead of everybody, but 2 through 8 is kind of right there. And so any path you go through is going to be tough. All the teams in the Western Conference are good. So it really doesn't matter to me. I think when we're healthy, I like our chances against anyone.